This is a Harper Guys production.
The Harper contains foul language and adult material. If you are easily offended and thin-skinned, you should hit the stop button now. And if you are not a complete idiot, let's get this party started.
Let's get down to brass tacks, gentlemen. If I was informed correctly, the clock is ticking. Is that right, Jimmy?
You know, but good luck arguing that in court. Let me get down to brass tacks.
Listen, let's get down to brass tacks here. How much for the ape?
Jack, let's just cut the crap and get down to brass tacks here.
Are you hating on Neil Diamond?
Holy fuck, fuck Neil Diamond.
Our dream of deathmatch is going to come to fruition, and my golden ticket is going to pay off. Hoo-ah. Don't you fucking hoo-ah me, motherfucker.
I want the ability to time travel.
It's dumb. This is stupid. Welcome to the Hopper, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jake. With me is always my sidekick, Adam.
That's right.
Or rather, co-host. You're not really a sidekick. You're a co-host.
You've
Sorry to
100 episodes.
Sorry to sidekick you, bro.
100 episodes, and we finally got there. Woo!
This is 100?
No, almost 100, and I'm finally not a sidekick anymore.
Sorry.
I'm a co-host.
99, and I've kept you convinced that you weren't a sidekick.
98. Yeah, I'm like, I guess I'm just part of the show. Remember that part? I'm just part of the show.
When your IT friend's not funny, but you can't set up a show yourself, you end up with the Harper as your podcast. All right.
The fucking truth hurts.
PSA them a little bit. Even though they're already here and they're already watching or listening or whatever they're doing.
Whatever you're doing. I mean, you could be screwing.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing.
You could be throwing a Wicked Ripper and playing us in the fucking background right now.
Wicked Ripper.
Everybody stops and says, Wicked Ripper!
I'll tell you the story about the Wicked Ripper. Easy for me to say. I said Wicked Whipper.
The Wicked Whipper.
The Wicked Whipper.
That sounds terrible.
All right. Episode number motherfucking 98. Visit us at theharperguys.com. There you can find our Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube links.
Nice.
You can also find us everywhere podcasts are found. Boom! That's all I got. Oh, this show is also brought to you by, I almost said Elliot Ness, but it's the Edmund Fitzgerald Great Lakes Brew. And?
This is actually a Manhattan tonight I'm drinking.
A Manhattan what?
It's McClellan and Handy. It's a pre-made Manhattan from Buffalo Trace. It's pretty good shit.
A Buffalo Trace. Okay, but you said McClellan and Handy? That almost sounds like a Saturday Night Live skit.
No. No, if you ever, like, Handy is like a huge name in the bourbon world. Like, huge name.
Brought to you by Jack Handy.
Yeah, I mean, they're part of the Buffalo Trace Antique series. Like, most people have never seen a bottle. The people that own them have handshake deals with the devil, I'm pretty sure. Like, this shit's that hard to come by. So, yeah, so Buffalo Trace makes this. They bottle it once a year, specifically, part of the series that they're doing. It's pretty good shit.
All right.
So, something different tonight, trying to not be drinking mass quantities of beer. However, I will say the Yeti Fitz is one of the all-time great beers I've ever had.
If you like porters, it's pretty
if you like your beer like unsugared mugger oil, that's your shit right there.
Yeah.
It's fucking good times.
It's fabulous. We don't usually do this. Sometimes we do. Do you have any updates that you'd like to throw out there? Or are you good?
Updates on exactly what?
Any fucking thing.
Your
thought process, your life, how many deer you've killed? I mean, anything?
Oh, I did pop a couple of fucking deer last weekend. Shot 2 deer out of the same tree stand in an hour. One ran no yards. The other one ran about 12. So it was awesome.
That's a kapow.
Now, I will tell you this. I forgot to tell you this earlier, and if you're a deer hunter, you'll completely fucking understand this. So the fun sometimes slows down once the shot's done, and you know that you're going to harvest the animal, because then the work really begins. So we have a Polaris that has a lift on the back. You've seen it. But I was like, man, I don't want to deal with getting the Polaris out. Like we have a top field that we can take this logging road down to, and my truck is she's a tough old bird. So I'm like, I'll just take the truck down the hill, load them up in the back of the truck. I don't have to deal with getting the Polaris out. Well, what I didn't think about was the fact that I intentionally shot 2 very nice mature does. I mean, I didn't just shoot the first deer that walked in the field. So I get the truck backed up to the first one, and I'm like, there's something to be said for what dead weight really means.
Literally.
I mean, these deer are 175, 150 pounds, somewhere in that range. They're nice mature does.
Maybe bigger.
I don't know, but I'm just saying, but like they're pre-field dressed to where like they're still completely full of all their pieces and parts to where I tried to throw her up in there He-Man style, and like I couldn't get the
It's
leverage.
a good way to bust your back.
But I didn't. I mean, I lifted with my legs, exploded like you would on a power lift, but trying to get her rotated was the problem. I could get her lifted up, but I couldn't get her rotated while I had her up to fucking get her in there.
And you got 2 of these.
I got 2 of these to do. So what I ended up doing, I have a Rubbermaid roughneck. It probably sits, if it's off the table, it probably sits about this high that I keep a bunch
What
of my
is
clothes
it?
in.
Like a tote?
Yeah, it's a Rubbermaid, but it's a Rubbermaid roughneck one. Like they're made to deal with the shit. So what I did was I put that right behind the tailgate. So I was able to get each one of them up onto that, and then from there up onto the tailgate to get them in.
Because getting them off the ground is probably
it
gives you a better position to.
Yeah, so it worked out pretty well. Got them both in there, and then I actually field dressed them right there on the tailgate. Once I got up there, no mess. I mean, for being a one-man show, it was pretty cool. So one of those things where people are always posting of shooting does early in the season. That's one of the reasons I'm not a big advocate of shooting does early. Is because you can shoot does late, for sure. You know, you only got so big of a buck window. I mean, they can show up at any time, but the most advantageous buck windows is I try to not shoot does during that time if I don't have to. So
Right on.
So that's pretty cool. And then I signed up for a 5K. Like, I know that you wouldn't know this to look at me, but I have been back to running, and I'm doing pretty well. And found out that my brother's coming down to do the half marathon that Sunday, and him and his wife are doing the 5K. And then Kathy and her sister, that's my dad's longtime partner, are going to do it too. So I was like, the hell is that? I'll sign up for it. And for me, it works because now I've got something to run towards, So
Literally.
trying to break 30 minutes. The fastest I've done so far is like 34. So I've got anybody that runs knows trimming 4 minutes off your 5K time. That's some work to do yet. So I've got 3 months, but I'm looking forward to it. So give me something to keep me grounded and motivated and keep on plowing on.
Hell yeah.
You got any updates?
I got some updates, but it's going to be part of the show.
Okay.
Something that I forgot to do last week.
Okay.
Or last show. The updates I got aren't really all that happy. Like, I mentioned at one point on the show that my dad and my stepmother, I always call my dad and his girlfriend because they were dad and girlfriend for a long, long time. And a few years ago, they got married. They're both in their 80s, and my dad has dementia, and she's starting to lose her memory, but she's also can like help me like direction wise. Like we're in the car, we're going to the doctors or something. She's like, no, left and right, and spot on, So she's doing a great job, but she's getting to the point where she needs some help too.
Slipping a little bit.
And so that's where I'm at. I have to step up. I don't have any siblings to help. I'd have my wife that's going to be doing quite a bit with me. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it's
all you.
One-man show. So my stepmother does have some family, but they're like Connecticut, Arkansas, nothing close.
Yeah.
But we're going to get it done and hopefully get them into assisted living within the next couple months. It's not a fast process.
No.
You got to liquidate shit and fucking figure out what they can afford and all this other stuff. But anyways, it's going to be a happy ending because if they're safe, I'm feeling much better. But anyways.
And who don't love a happy ending?
Yeah. 1 ton or 2 ton? All right, so let's get into it.
Let's do it. Pick a topic.
All right, topic number 1, Netflix. Occasionally on this show, we have talked and briefly scratched the surface of some shows we've watched.
Yeah.
Now, as doing just a minor bit of research, a couple paragraphs here, I realized that there is no way in hell that I could cover every single show that I've ever watched on Netflix.
No way.
It is an abominable type effort because apparently I've watched a shit ton. And I'm assuming, I think you had Netflix before so if I've watched a shit ton, you've watched a fucking quadruple ton.
A fuckload.
Yeah, a fuckload.
Whatever's next on the list.
So I'm gonna go over some, and you can just kind of yay or nay or yeah or no.
Well, and I'll say this though too. Like for me, I've actually some of my Netflix watching has gone down.
I was gonna say I bet it has.
As I've gone through things this fall with the divorce and all that kind of stuff, I find myself watching less and less TV. I actually had on my regular old DVR, because I still watch regular shows off of television. I deleted, I think it was close to 200 hours.
Oh, I bet.
Of stuff that I'm just not going to watch.
No.
Like stuff that wasn't necessarily mine.
And
but like even when I got down to the stuff that was just mine, I still had like 60 hours of shit on there that I don't know.
Right.
When I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to delete it, but it's like I'll keep it on there, but who knows when
Well,
I'll watch it.
and when I was actually creating this, I had that in consideration, and I said to myself, he might not be watching as much, but I know you've watched enough to cover this topic.
I still keep up with what's going the fuck on.
Yeah, so I'm going to throw some out here, and these are not in chronological order.
Yeah.
One I watched recently,
Yeah.
and I wasn't going to watch it because I'm a Braveheart fan.
Yeah.
And in Braveheart, Robert the Bruce was kind of a bad guy. He wasn't like the number one guy, and then at the end he became a hero and helped him, but he kind of fucked over our Braveheart, William Wallace. And
He didn't kind of fuck him over. He fucked him over.
In that depiction.
Yeah.
He fucks him over. So The Outlaw King is out, and it's all about Robert the Bruce.
Oh, really?
And I wasn't going to watch it because I'm like, fuck you, Robert the Bruce.
Right.
But then I'm like, there's always two sides to every story. So I give it a shot, and it's not bad. Not bad.
Yeah?
I mean, if we're
The
giving
Outlaw King.
If we're giving 10 stars, it's easy 6 or 7. It's pretty decent.
Haven't seen it, but
And in this story, sorry about the cough. They kind of depict it where Robert the Bruce and William, they don't really. I kind of looked this up, a lot of opinions because there's not a lot of hard facts from that time.
yeah.
Right? Some theorists say that they may not even ever met.
Really?
They were around in the same time period. William Wallace got drawn and quartered about the time that the Bruce started to, really push.
Really take control of things in Ireland.
But
I mean, Scotland. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry to the Scots.
they fought like Scots.
I think it's Scotsman.
Yeah, Scotsman. But anyways, whether they did or didn't, in this depiction, they didn't, like, there was no scene with them both.
Yeah.
The only scene they show of William Wallace is his drawn and quartered arm hanging from something. They said they took his arms and legs to four corners of Scotland, and his head was stuck on a staff on London Bridge, I believe.
Yes.
So they show the Bruce looking at this torn arm of William Wallace.
But
anyways, getting on with it. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll take it. And it was actually more of a, there was a little bit more of a happy ending. Don't want to really ruin it or spoil it, but, Braveheart was kind of like, well, it's fucking over. Dude's dead. But anyways, all right, moving on. Red Notice. This is also recent. This is The Rock.
Haven't seen it.
And
Kevin Hart.
No.
Again, for
No.
the 50th time?
No, this is what makes it better. Who played? I'm going to draw blanks at names. So I'm going to give you other characters they played. Who played Deadpool?
No idea.
You don't know?
I didn't.
Green Lantern?
I didn't see either one of those movies. Paul Rudd. He's Ant-Man.
All right. Got to look it up.
All right, here we go. Well, then while he's looking it up, I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
Speaking of Netflix, I actually was on there during Christmas week and was just like, let's find something to veg to. And they had just put Gladiator on there. So it's been years. I actually sat and I watched Gladiator start to finish one night.
My son and I watched that just the other night.
I still love it. It's still great.
He had not seen it.
Yeah.
Are you not entertained?
Right.
Apparently they weren't.
I was entertained. If I can tell you that. I like movies that have a little bit of humor mixed in with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So this actor that I'm trying to find his name, with people are screaming at me on the other side of the camera.
I'm sure they are.
He's the one that's always a smartass in every fucking movie.
That doesn't narrow it down.
Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, God.
You don't like Ryan Reynolds?
I fucking hate Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, I love Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds is a fucking leftist douche.
Okay, I'm not watching his movies because of his political. I do like to separate that. Anyways,
I don't. Fuck him.
I do. Now, if I want to get into it, like Jimmy Kimmel,
Fuck that guy.
fuck that guy. Now that's hard to watch. Although we did watch one episode the other night because my daughter's favorite band was going to be on there, 21 Pilots, and which they saved like the last 7 seconds of the show to play a song, and we watched the whole hour of his stupid show. But he was actually making fun of Biden a little bit, so I was like, really?
Whatever.
I was like, you do that? Okay, moving on. So Red Notice, I did like it. It was pretty good. Narcos Mexico.
Is amazing.
Yes.
If you watch Narcos Mexico, watch the original Narcos first. Watch all, was it 3 seasons? And then switch over to Narcos Mexico for, I think, 3 seasons now, right?
Probably.
There's 6 seasons total, I think, now.
At least 2 seasons of Mexico. If at least 2 seasons of Mexico.
Now, did you like the last season?
It was a little bit like never getting anywhere.
The thing I liked about the last season is that it was like all the glamour was stripped out of it. Like everything that you had in the first 3 seasons with Pablo, like if you guys haven't seen it and you're a fan of anything that has to do with like the drug cartel stuff, Pablo's character is amazing. The 3 seasons of Narcos that are all about Pablo, they're awesome. But this last season, I felt like it was one of those like just drag you through the sadness and the heartache and the disappointment. Like it was not a feel-good season.
No.
Still, though, definitely worth the watch.
And I find watching Narcos and getting into it and loving it that I will like watch other weird drug, like, whatever things on documentaries on just because of it. Because the drug world is like, I watched one where these, and I didn't have it on here, but it was 2 guys were cigar boat racers in Miami, but they were huge kingpins, drug lords. And they would use the drug money and then finally, after like 7-8 years, people started putting the number or the shit together that these guys where are they getting all their money?
Right.
Because they're they were the cocaine cowboys. I think is what it was.
It's like, how do you run $2 million boats to win $10,000 at a time?
Did you see that?
Sense. Yeah, it's really good.
All right, yeah. And
those guys are awesome.
And how they went, they didn't believe in violence for the longest time. It was after the law had them pinned down that they finally started taking out witnesses and shit. But for 15 years, they didn't kill one person.
Right.
Because like all the other drug cartels would wipe people out, like left and right. But these guys were like the happy fucking hyenas.
What's the cartel on Narcos? The 2 old guys.
Cali cartel.
The Cali, the ones that were the same way. Like they were real business-like about everything.
They didn't want to draw attention.
Right, until they got drawn into it, then they were part of it. But yeah, Cocaine Cowboys and Cocaine Cowboys 2. Yeah. Both are worth watching. I can't
believe I remember. I'm not good at remembering names of shows.
Yeah,
especially when you watch 1,000.
Those are both good.
Here's one that I'm just beginning, and he's finished and all excited about. Ozark.
Holy shit, Ozark.
I'm like 3 shows in. He's like 75 shows in.
I've watched every episode. The new season drops on Friday, so by the time this airs, it should be available, and it's going to be number 1 on Netflix tomorrow. As soon as it's out, it'll be number 1.
I like how they have the rankings now.
Lots of people will not do anything this weekend until they're done with it, and I don't blame them. I'll probably watch half of it on Sunday. So after football's over, before I go to bed, I'll stay up and watch 2-3 episodes.
So here's something they just re-added. I shouldn't say re-added. It's probably the first time they have ever had it on here.
Yeah.
And my kids are just now getting a glimpse into the 90s sitcom of Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah.
We're watching it, and some of the, like the first season, I probably didn't see a whole lot of.
Yeah.
But I saw almost all the rest.
Yeah.
And so my kids are actually like, let's watch some, because this, I said, listen, it's a show about nothing.
Yeah.
That's what they claim, and it really is, but it's good.
Little known fact, it was my favorite show growing up, like through my my high school years. I watched every episode of Saturday Night Live and Seinfeld. Like I used to record it on a tape.
Yeah, I mean,
watch it.
I didn't record it. I watched it all live every time.
But I always had shit to do. I worked on Monday nights
back
then because it was Monday nights. Was it Monday nights at 9:30 or 10?
Yeah,
is when it was on. To where I think I've seen every episode at this point. I haven't seen them all twice. I know that I've seen a lot of them more than once. But yeah, Seinfeld's still a shit. I actually paid $24.99 back in 1996. I'll never forget it, for a Seinfeld hat. And I wore that fucking thing everywhere until it literally fell apart. And $25 for a hat back then, like, that wasn't fucking around money for a hat. I mean, even today, dropping $25 on a hat.
I was going to do my fabulous Seinfeld imitation.
Yeah.
But I'm not now. Clive Davis, did you see that show?
No.
He's a record producer. He did a lot of the big ones, like Whitney.
Is that what it's called, Clive Davis?
Yeah, it's about him. Clive Davis and something.
I would watch that.
It's like a guy that everybody that he produced,
yeah,
but you don't know the guy behind the production.
Right.
And it's pretty cool. Of course, he was loved by everybody and all this other shit.
Sure.
I think that he's actually, Adam Sandler did a Netflix show about being a producer that loved everybody. And I think that he took that character and kind of made his own show about it.
Wasn't Kevin Uncut Gems or something like that?
No, that was different. Uncut
Okay.
Gems is a great.
That's
actually on my list.
a movie, right?
That's a movie with
Yeah.
Adam Sandler. He's like the Netflix fucking king, and I could watch
one of them.
I could watch The Sandman for fucking days. I love Adam Sandler.
You do.
I do.
The Sandman.
Sandman. Oh, don't hurt him, Sandman. He says that on his last live show. Because he's fucking throwing out the jokes and he's just ripping people up and he's
Yeah.
like, and then he throws it out. Oh, don't hurt him, Sandman. Sandman humor. Now, if you want a good one, like, do you get into like historic shit? Like,
Yes.
okay, so like if you see like Egyptian shit, like will you watch like a brand new episode? Like they found something in a tomb.
Yeah.
Okay, now I will admit, if you've been sipping on the bottle a little bit and it's getting kind of late, the fucking Egyptian ones will kind of put you to sleep occasionally.
Right.
But they're pretty fucking interesting.
Yeah.
All that historic facts and shit.
'Kay.
So the Saqqara tomb, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but this was pretty cool where they found this tomb and there was these 3 burial chambers, like straight down. So they have to dig it out real slow, and then they get down, and one's empty, and then they find something, and then the third one they find a full human being, bones all whatever. And it just kind of, it's interesting how they did shit back in the day. I don't know, it's interesting stuff. Formula One, I got into that. I'm not a big Formula One fan at all, but they have an episode, and I watched it because I was one of those moments where nothing on Netflix. Let's try this.
Right.
And I was
Give
like,
it hell.
hey, look at this world. And I watched the 2 seasons, and there'll be a third one coming out shortly.
Nice.
And it actually got me into looking at the schedule. I watched the first 2 seasons, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to watch this before the show. I watched a couple races. And the cool thing is, the races are literally about an hour and 20 minutes. You don't have to sit there for 3 hours like, a football game,
Net
a
car.
baseball game, or left turn car,
Net car.
Yeah, net car.
Neck.
There Will Be Blood.
I've seen it. The movie.
Yeah,
It's on
this is
there.
just a movie.
But I don't think that movie. If he wasn't in it, that movie would be fucking hard to watch.
It's kind of hard to watch, anyways.
I mean, it's kind of slow. I mean, he won Best Actor for it. Which,
did he really?
Yeah, he's the shit. But I'm just fucking saying, he's won it what 3 times now?
Daniel Day.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Well, did he win it for Last of the Mohicans?
No.
No.
Is he in Last of the Mohicans?
Yes,
That's
he
Kevin
is.
Costner.
No. That's Dances with Wolves.
That is.
You're getting your Indian movies mixed up.
Sorry. No, he won it for that.
I will find you, no matter how far.
He had a couple of them that were within I think he won it for that, and then I think he won. Didn't he win for Gangs in New York?
Yeah, probably Gangs in New York.
Where he played the butcher.
Probably.
Yeah, because he was a dick in that movie. But
Murder Mountain. Now, have you watched this?
Fuck yes, I have.
So this is like the documentary of drug.
Motherfuckers getting clipped
And
on a
this is
fucking
in
hill.
fucking California. Woohoo! Watch that one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. That's
Fuck
hilarious.
Yes, if you like spaghetti westerns, like old spaghetti westerns, where there's
But it's comedy.
that's a spaghetti western,
Oh,
dude.
okay. I don't know what a spaghetti fucking western is.
It's like where they're like kind of slapsticky humor throughout it.
that one where the old guy's digging for what do you say, Mr. Pocket? I found you, Mr. Pocket.
Yes.
That's hilarious. The opening one with the little dude from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah.
When he fucking hits that table and it fucking it hits the guy and he fucking blesses. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to give too much away if you haven't seen it, but some fucking funny shit.
Yeah. Inglourious Bastards was back on there. I don't know if you've actually ever sat down and watched it, but that's another one. Like I'm big on rewatching movies that I haven't seen in a long
I've
time.
seen it a
really
few
good.
times.
I watched it again, and my favorite part of the whole movie, don't get me wrong, I love that movie, like start to finish. Aldo Raines.
I believe that's my masterpiece.
I do like Brad Pitt's character in the movie, and like the Bear Jew is cool and all that. But the scene where they're in that little underground bar, and
Yes.
shit goes all sideways.
with Von Helda.
Yeah, and they when the German officer realizes that they're not really German, and that
And
they're
how
Brits,
does he realize that?
because of the fingers.
He doesn't say 3 like this.
Yes.
This is the German 3. He wants 3 beers,
He said 3.
and then the guy knew that it because
He's like, in this region, it's like this. So they've all got guns on each other, and so this guy, the guy that's faking being a German, knows he's going to be shot, and he's like, if it's all the same to you, I'm going to go out speaking to kings, my good man. And it's just like, it's a very raw,
They-
real moment where where he's just like, you know what? shit's gonna get fucking real. I'm gonna go out being me.
And each one of those guys at that moment has a gun in their crotch.
Right. Hugo Stiglitz.
Hugo Stig. That's my favorite character.
Dude, I know you love Hugo Stiglitz. He's like Steven in Braveheart. Steven is my favorite character in Braveheart. Everybody loves William Wallace.
The wacky
or
guy?
Hamish. Yeah.
Yeah. It is my island. What does he say? They're under the shields, and he goes, I can get out of this, but I'm pretty sure you're fucked.
Right. And then when he shoots that guy in the woods, and fucking William Wallace looked at it, the guy that tried to shoot William Wallace, remember the guy that was like a spy or whatever
Yeah.
he was? And Steven fucking shoots him and fucking walks up and fucking pulls his arrow out of him.
He wasn't right in the head.
Yeah. I didn't ever like him. He wasn't right in the head. Like,
And you can tell he's fucking whacked.
dude, I love it.
Okay. Between Two Ferns.
Dude, I watched a little bit of it. Like,
It's hard to watch, but I had to because it's got Will Ferrell in it. He cameos in it.
Yeah.
It is funny. The questions that he asks, it's I don't know. It's hard to believe they actually made a show about it, but it's still funny.
some of it's funny. Do you have how much of it have you watched?
All of it.
Did you watch the Barack Obama one?
That wasn't on there.
Oh God.
They must have made it a special.
No, like, so there's a series and then there's Between Two Ferns, the movie.
Oh, I watched the movie.
Okay, so there's a series, and one of them is Barack Obama. First fucking question he asked Barack Obama, he's like, so what's it like to be the last black president? And Barack looks at him, he goes, you really going to go there? He goes, I think that's a fair question. He goes, all right, what's it like interviewing your last president? Like, your career is over, son.
Yeah, you're done.
So I got a kick out of that.
Yeah.
I don't like fucking Obama, and most of the people that are on that show I get a kick out of, but...
So there was the Innocence Files, and that's just basically about a bunch of guys on death row.
That didn't really do it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that kind of goes with our other podcast.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
The Gallows.
The Chicago 7.
I've seen that multiple times.
That was a movie.
Yeah.
War Dogs. This was about the two young guys that were gun runners.
Dude, I love War Dogs.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys haven't seen it, Jonah Hill's in it, and it's based on a true story of these two guys that just went off the fucking rails.
I don't know if that one part where they went through the triangle of death is real, but if they did, holy fuck, they almost died.
Yeah.
Anyways, The King, that's newer. It's about King Richard, maybe the third or
I don't
something.
know. I have it on the list, but I have not started it.
Yeah,
It's definitely a ways down.
It's not like, it's more of a historic thing, I think.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a little bit slow. But anyways, Squid Game. Now, this was a weird one.
Fuck yeah, dude. Love
Did
Squid
you like
Game.
it?
No, I didn't like it. I loved it.
I don't understand it really because I hate overdubs. I mean, I loathe overdubs.
Don't call them overdubs.
That's what they are. Voiceovers. I hate voiceovers.
It's way better than trying to read it the whole fucking time. And they did a pretty good job with
I
it.
would rather read it.
I mean, like, some of the characters, like the one girl, like the crazy
my
girl,
God.
but her character was funny because, like, all the things they had her saying were stupid. And, like, they weren't really exactly, like, a perfect translation.
But the last thing she ever said was hilarious.
When she jumped on his back?
She jumped on him, and she's trying to pull this guy down. They're both gonna die.
Yeah.
If she does this successfully.
Yeah.
And she remembers is the tug of war scene where they leaned back, and right before she said it, she goes, "By the way, you have a small Peter." She took them both down.
Yep.
That's the last thing the guy heard before he died was,
Yep.
"My dick is small." All right. Don't Look Up. That's new with DiCaprio
Oh, I haven't yet, but I hear,
Jennifer Lawrence.
I hear it's pretty good.
It's not bad. I mean, it's an end of the world movie. Meteor's coming, and no, Bruce Willis does not fly up in a spaceship and blow it up. But they do have ideas.
He should have.
The BFG tries to blow it up.
Yeah.
The Sons of Sam. Did you ever see this?
I have not. I know it's a true crime documentary.
Documentary about a journalist detective that was really working a bunch of different angles. I guess The Sons of Sam was like basically more of a conspiracy where they pinned it on one guy, but there could have been multiples.
Yeah, where like everything, not everything looked great for pointing at Berkowitz.
Right.
For it.
He was a scapegoat, pretty much.
Well, let's not get carried away. It just seems like he probably had a little bit of help somewhere in there. Some of the things that, watch it. I'm not going to try to describe it to you, but things didn't line up perfect.
So there's another one called The Monster Inside. Now, I just recently watched this.
Oh, yeah.
It was about the different personalities.
Yep.
Did you see it?
I did.
Woo! Go check that out.
Yep, definitely worth a watch.
14 Peaks. I've been getting into these too.
Oh, I haven't seen this.
These are like mountain climbing fucking freaks.
Oh, man. After watching Free Solo, I don't watch any more of that. Free Solo fucking...
Free Solo was the guy that cut his nub off, right? Or he cut his finger off?
No, Free Solo was the guy that did El Cap with no ropes, no harnesses, no nothing. He fucking climbed El Cap.
Yeah, and then he ended up cutting his finger off later on in his career, and he did more with like this little nub on his index finger.
I don't think so.
I think so.
If you haven't watched Free Solo, like, it's the weirdest thing on earth, but I was literally sweating while I was watching it.
So I'll just give you a brief overview of 14 Peaks. So I'm going to totally get the area wrong, but in a Middle Eastern country where there's mountains,
Okay.
Tibet. I think the Tibetan area, I believe. Now, I'm sure it's just not one, but anyways, there's 14 peaks above 8,000 meters.
Okay.
And one guy, well, no, I shouldn't say, I think the only guy that to do it all back in the day without oxygen, he's still alive, now they'll use oxygen so they don't get all crazy.
Is he a Sherpa or what's his deal?
No, this guy, the original guy, I think he was English, but it took him 16 years because back in the 70s and 80s, he had to get fundage and shit, and plus, some of these places they don't just allow you. You have to put papers in to actually get, rights to climb the mountain.
Yes.
And of course, you're risking your life every time. Well, he did it in 16 years. This main guy on 14 Peaks, he is an ex Navy SEAL for his country, basically. He's gung ho and all this other shit. And he goes and hand select his crew.
Yeah.
And they want to do this in 3 months.
Yeah.
Blow 16 years out of the water.
Yeah.
3 months. I think they end up doing it in 6.5 months. It's still phenomenal.
Yeah.
But it came down to had to do the last mountain, and it was in China. And the Chinese had it closed for a couple years. And because of this would never happen without social media, an outpouring of their fans, 20s to hundreds of thousands of fans, shot fucking messages over to China and said, you gotta let them try. Might not be safe, they might die doing it, but you gotta let them try. And of course they fucking did it. Knocked it out.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
There's another show about a fucking kid that does mountain climbing. And when you look at him, he reminds you kind of Jim Morrison.
Okay.
Free spirit, kind of almost just like Jim Morrison, except he doesn't sing. Or maybe he does, and we just don't know.
Maybe.
But he does mountain climbing. He also does ice climbing, where he'll see a frozen waterfall.
Fuck that.
A frozen fucking waterfall that if you hit it probably the wrong way, you're going down. But anyways, these are gigantic waterfalls, though.
I don't care. Fuck that.
The dude was unreal. Him and his partner, they were going to do this mountain, and he finally got sponsored, and he was doing all this, going to do this mountain, and it wasn't falling or doing something wrong, but a lot of these climbers will do this shit in between windows of weather. So they had 28 hours of this window. They got up, they started to descend, and they were never heard from again, and they basically got avalanched on, wiped out. Still a great show to watch. I don't remember what it was called, but if you go through and you find the mountain climbing one and you see Jim Morrison, you'll know who I'm talking about. But the only thing they saw when they were looking, they couldn't even go search for them for 4 days. So it was pretty much
a recovery mission, not a rescue mission.
Right. And the only thing they saw on this one tier of this one mountain was a rope in between. I mean, it had to be 6 feet from one little spot to another. That was that's all they saw. So they knew that they were in there somewhere. Yeah. And they couldn't even recover them.
They never found them, huh?
Well, they couldn't because it's just too dangerous.
Wow.
So, interesting stuff.
That's pretty wild. I've been watching, I love stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
So, I've watched a lot of it on there.
Chappelle?
I've watched all Chappelle's stuff multiple times. I went back and I've rewatched all the Bill Burr stuff more than once.
I haven't seen any Bill Burr.
Oh, dude, watch the Bill Burrs.
I like Bill Burr.
There's 4 or 5 of them on there, and dude, all of his specials are hilarious. Have you watched the Burt Kreischer ones?
No.
Oh, dude, watch every one of those. Secret Time and Hey Big Boy, and
I just thought of something.
He's funny.
Bill Burr. Will Burr?
Yeah.
Wilbur.
Yeah. Maybe.
Will Burr.
Maybe.
Why didn't he just go with Wilbur?
I don't know, but then Bill Burr also has his cartoon F is for Family that if you watch Bill Burr and you like Bill Burr, you got to watch F is for Family.
I love Bill Burr.
It's hilarious. So
Did you know he was in Mandalorian?
I did know he was in The Mandalorian.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you see Tiffany Haddish? Speaking of people like that, do you know who Tiffany Haddish is?
no.
She's a comedian. Like she's good friends with Joe Rogan and Bill Burr and all these people. Her and Chappelle are like super tight. She went to a bachelor party last weekend down somewhere outside of Miami, like 30 miles outside of Miami, and police got a phone call that there was a lady asleep at the wheel in the middle of the fucking highway.
And it was her?
Yeah, passed out at the wheel of her car in the middle of a.
Do you get a DUI for that?
Yeah, she did. So
Yeah. Okay. So other ones, like any of the Earth ones, like there's one that Will Smith, Will Smith, right? Prince of Bel-Air?
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Fresh Prince.
Fresh.
He actually narrates some of these. They're really fucking good. Afterlife. Have you ever seen Afterlife? It's kind of a little dark.
I'm all right with that.
It's a little bit of a suicide type of dressing because the guy loses his wife and he doesn't feel like being around anymore.
Yeah.
They were tight, but it's actually called Afterlife basically because he's actually figuring out how to continue.
Yeah.
After his wife's death.
Afterlife.
Yeah. Things I want to rewatch. Looper, that's a movie on there. Have you ever seen Looper?
I haven't, but I hear it's good.
It's good. Got Bruce Willis in it and another younger actor who's probably about in his 40s now. I can't remember who that fucking guy is.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, another great one. I'd like to finish 1922. Have you seen that?
1922?
Yeah, it's about a guy that ends up killing his wife, and he's got a son out on a farm, and then I think the demons get unleashed. I started it, and then, but the one I won't watch. Some things, like you said, I'm not watching any of Ryan Reynolds movies because
I don't like him.
Because he's a leftist, whatever. Jeffrey Epstein. Every time I'm like,
Filthy Rich.
I'd like to watch, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not watching this because he's a fucking pedophile. I don't want to hear his story.
No.
Why do I want to hear that fucking gross ass man's story?
I don't disagree with you. Speaking of that, like, it's bullshit that they fucking did not fucking let anybody in to watch that fucking trial of Ghislaine Maxwell.
Who's that?
She was his, like, partner in crime.
Oh.
She was just on trial in New York. They fucking wouldn't let any fucking cameras in there, no fucking reporters, no nothing. So, like, there's this huge list of fucking famous people that they had on fucking Pedophile Island that now there's a great big court battle to get these fucking names released. And they're fucking fighting that shit tooth and fucking nail.
Well, of course there are, because there's a lot of fucking famous people on that
And
list.
there's a lot of fucking money behind it. But they, like, did you see that the Queen of England already, Prince Philip, she already fucking stripped him of everything. He's a common...
Because he was part of that?
Well, because they know he's associated with it. He's a name that has been thrown around multiple times with it.
Is he still alive?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's her son. So...
Oh, it's her son.
So she's like, like the whole big decree stripped him of everything. He's a common citizen now. He has no rights or privileges that go with
I'm
being a
sure
part of the royal
Mama's still
family.
taking care of him.
I doubt it. Grandma's crazy. I wouldn't be fucking with Grandma.
She is fucking.
She's
rock
badass.
Star. She's rock star.
She's gonna
There's other
like,
ones. Have
like,
you ever seen any of those shows about the family?
like the Royals or any of those? Yeah, oh, yeah.
Or The Crown.
The
You
Crown.
watch any of that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have too.
Hey, give me. Here's a. It's a little bit late, but hey, speaking of old badass women, that's for Betty White. Just missed her 100th birthday. They celebrated it last week, so here's to you, Betty.
I thought she hit it. I thought she hit 100 and died like a week later.
She died on New Year's Eve this year, and she would have turned 100 like a week ago. Huh. So she missed it by like 15 days being 100. Little known fact about Betty White. She actually she was a vaudeville performer like way back in the day, and she actually met a pilot from Ohio and actually lived in Ohio for like 8 months, married this guy, and like things were just kind of going okay. It really wasn't the life she wanted, but she really loved him. And then this was like his mom told her to go out and kill a chicken for dinner, and she was like, "Oh, that's it, I'm out," and left him and went back to California and got a divorce and started her career, and that was that. But she actually her last like part of civilian life was here in Ohio. So,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, OH.
IO.
I don't think I have anything more on that.
Well, the reason I haven't been not watching Netflix is because A, I've been busy, but B, I don't miss playoff football, and playoff football has been dominating the weekend.
Yeah, playoff football's been good.
That was fucking awesome last weekend. I like that Super
Now,
Wild Card weekend.
I did see a headline on ESPN or something or Yahoo. Too many teams. No. What do you think?
No, I think it's the right amount.
Yeah?
I think it's the perfect amount. I like doing 7 teams on each side. I think that it's the right number. Football is a weird sport compared to other sports. Other sports have such a long run to them.
Well,
the cream definitely rises to the top. You can have a team that starts off really, really bad, that gets their shit together and gets it figured out and becomes really hard to beat at the end of the season.
Well, honestly,
I'm fine with
I
that.
think there should be more NFL teams that make the playoffs because it's one and done. Now, you get into basketball and baseball, you have all these games.
But basketball and hockey are worse than any of them. Basketball and hockey, they each have 16 teams that get in.
Right, which doesn't make any sense.
How many is it baseball? 6?
Right, but I don't,
sorry, 12.
I don't even know. But what I'm saying is,
And football's 14 now.
basketball is like a whole nother season when you get into the playoffs.
So is hockey.
Because it used to be the first round was 5 games. Now every round is 7 games.
Right. So, like in hockey in the NBA, you could potentially play up to 28 more games if you go to the finals and you play 7 games
It's
in every series.
so exhausting.
Well, that's why. But I don't watch basketball anymore.
But you should, if you are a Cleveland Cavalier fan.
I hear they're good.
I have actually tuned them in. I could tell you some actual names of players. There is one guy,
Garland or something like that. That's fucking
Garland,
good.
this young kid. He's got a funny hairstyle with the. He's got the mini dreads with the bunch hanging out the top. It's a funny hairstyle, but then you see a couple other guys. He's not the only one. But that aside, the dude is freaking lights out. And then we have this young stud Mobley, who's he's a tree. He's a tall guy.
Yeah.
Then we still have Love, and then we have. Oh, God, there's this one guy that I just would... Jenny Osmond. They need to fucking ship him off to Jennyville.
But they've had him for forever, haven't they?
I know, but he's horrible.
Ceedy Osmond. Not Jenny. Ceedy Osmond is his name.
Whatever.
I'm just saying.
Osmond is his last name. We all agree on that.
Okay.
I thought he was going to be a good player, and I haven't watched the Cavs in a couple years, but every time he gets the ball, he fucks it up. I watched the other night. He did have a steal. But that was it. Every time he shoots one up, because he's like a 3-shoot. He's a 3-point shooter. But they're competitive. They're second in their division behind the Bulls, who they just played the Bulls last night and they got waxed. Actually, it's one of those games where the Cavs are behind them. They get real close.
They fall back.
They get real close. And then they finally got to one point deficit, and then they end up losing by like 15.
Yeah. But
But anyways, Cavs are looking at it. Question, real quick. We'll stick on the sports.
okay, let's stick on sports for a minute.
I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this. But will Jarvis Landry be back in Cleveland?
I think he will be.
I hope the fuck he is, but the way it ended and the way it went with OBJ, I don't think he will.
I think he's coming back. I think he's part of the nucleus of that team. And
I hope he realizes that.
I think he's coming back to Cleveland.
They said he didn't address the team when Odell left.
It doesn't matter.
And
But how about for that guy?
Can't
Could
wait
he-
for them to lose.
The Rams?
Yeah.
Fuck that. The Rams, the Niners, and the Bengals are the only 3 teams left that I even. And if it's
I know
not those 3,
I know you're rooting for
let's
Stafford.
go Tom.
I know you're rooting for Stafford, but I cannot root for Beckham. Can't.
Why?
He's a douchebag.
Dude, but that team is full of guys that you got to root for. How do you not root for Cooper Kupp?
I can root for Cooper Kupp, but Stafford, he's been in the cellar in Detroit. But if it wasn't, I would root for them 100%. But Odell Beckham,
Dude, all those guys on their
Jr.
defense that are worth loving: Von Miller, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. Like,
Von's an add-on too. Fuck him.
he's showing up now. Like the last couple games, he's actually showed up and made a difference. And
Good.
hey,
I mean, Donald.
they're going into Tampa Bay this week.
Well,
I'm telling you, calling it the upset of the week this week is the Niners over the Packers.
So my Browns question number 1 was Jarvis. You think he's going to stay? I feel like he's not, but I hope to God he does.
Yeah.
Now, for me, this is a no-brainer. Baker's still the man, right?
They're already keeping his contract for 1 more year.
I want Baker. I think he's, but so many owners and teams pull the trigger too quick sometimes. Do you think there's a chance that they try to pull in a Deshaun Watson or try to sweeten? I know you said he won't leave Green Bay, but try to sweeten the pot for Aaron Rodgers or something weird.
If it's going to be like that, it's going to end up being the two big names you're going to see out there for teams that need quarterbacks this year are probably going to be Jimmy Garoppolo from the Niners, who's playing fantastic.
Is
now,
he about done there?
Yeah, they drafted Trey Lance, number 3 overall, and
yeah.
they traded all those draft picks to move up and get him last year. I mean,
You think Trey Lance is that good?
Trey Lance is going to be good. But who knows? If Jimmy G leads him back to the Super Bowl, how do you get rid of the guy?
Can't.
Now, Cousins is the guy that's going to be available on the open market coming out of Minnesota. Minnesota paid him all that money, and I'm telling you what's going to be fucked up is he's not going to go to Cleveland because Baker's going to be here, but he's going to end up in your division. You
Who?
watch.
Who?
Kirk Cousins.
Okay. Well, you told me that it was going to be mustache.
It's going to be one of the two. I wouldn't be surprised. You talking about fucking discount double shit?
No. The boy from the Bears that you said was going to come back and be the quarterback for
Who?
Pittsburgh.
DJ Magic Mitch?
Mitch, yeah.
Dude, I would love it. Dude, if somebody else gives Mitch a chance, Mitch is good. Mitch is definitely good enough to start in the league.
The one thing, because even though I believe the Browns in the last 3 years have done things right, in my opinion, they've done things right. They went out and got guys. Odell Beckham Jr. didn't work out, but they went out and got him.
Yeah.
They've actually, for the Browns front office, they've been doing shit right. Clowney, other things. They've just been doing shit right. But the only fear I have is that, because I don't know how long the Goff's contract is.
He's not. There's no way. Like, when Goff's contract is up in Detroit, he's going to become a backup someplace, and that's it.
Good. Because the one thing I didn't want them to do was be like, okay, well, let's bring Goff to Cleveland and then see who competes for the job. And then I can see Goff winning the job, and then our team just going to shit.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. That's not going to happen.
And then I saw it. I saw the headline. Oh, Goff in Cleveland. I'm like, fuck, please no.
No. Goff is not coming to Cleveland.
Thank God.
I don't
How many
think so,
years does he
anyway.
have on his contract? Does anybody know?
I think he's got 2
Oh, thank God.
left in Detroit. So, I think you're all clear there.
Unless they make another fucking swap, that would be
I'm telling you what,
horrible.
though, man. Somebody like Cousins or Garoppolo goes to Pittsburgh. The cupboard is not bare in Pittsburgh. And if anything, that team is going to be better with a different quarterback than what they had in Big Ben. I'm telling you right now, dude, their running back is an elite stud.
Yes.
One of the best in the league already as a rookie. Their defense still has a bunch of studs on it. Watt just broke the fucking sack record.
No, tied it.
They've still got 3 fucking really good wide receivers. I mean, this team ain't going anywhere.
Listen, we watched the draft last year, and we were texting with our friend, the Steelers fan, and we kept saying, oh, no, he's Moonshine Mafia, more than a friend.
A little more.
But what did we keep saying? No offensive lineman. No offensive lineman. So, listen, Ben knew he had to get rid of that ball in 2 seconds. I don't think Cousins is built like that. I don't think Garoppolo's built like that. They're gonna have to do something about that. If they don't do something about the line, good luck.
I'm just saying.
Good luck.
I'm just saying.
Unfortunately,
Does it piss you off that Cleveland had the number 1 pick and drafted Baker in one of those years where there wasn't a Burrow or a Lawrence? I mean, could you imagine if fucking Burrow was in Cleveland right now? You talk about a love affair between a player and a fucking city.
oh yeah. Well, can you imagine? Well, I mean,
He already owns fucking Cincinnati.
I mean, well, that's what I was gonna say. Cincinnati's still in Ohio.
Get used to that.
A few feet from Columbus, where he didn't get to start, but was a Buckeye at one time.
Right.
You don't think those people are like, this is our boy?
Our boy. It's our boy, Blue.
And you know what? I'm going to be honest.
You're rooting for him.
Why would I not? Because
you hate Pittsburgh and Baltimore.
In my team's division, I have 2 teams I hate. I don't hate the Bengals. They're usually a rent-a-win. I know that's not the case anymore.
But you did sweep them.
Even though the one was a gimme game. They sat
still
everybody.
beat the shit out of them, though. It wasn't even close.
No, the first game.
But the first game, they whooped the shit out of them with their starters.
I know, but that they made.
But that being said, you're gonna be dealing with these fucking guys for the next decade. Enjoy that. Enjoy Burrow and Chase for a while.
You know what? I would love to have nothing more than awesome battles between these teams. As long as my team has a chance, I'm okay.
But Baltimore's still not going anywhere.
I don't care. This
division's gonna be fucking
how about
fat
that
for a
though?
long time.
JOK ruined their season. That's how unstable. Well, I guess you say that's how unstable Baltimore is. JOK fucking fucked his shit up.
Yeah.
Right there. The fucking Notre Dame.
I love
star.
him, dude. Would fucking steal the fucking draft.
He broke his foot.
You ain't even seen him yet, though. You saw him as a rookie. You wait till that kid fucking settles in. He's gonna be one of the best outside linebackers in all of fucking football next year.
I don't doubt it. But
He's a fucking freak.
My point is, well, the funny thing was I was saying, look how unstable your team is if you lose one player. But then Baker got fucking destroyed this year, and obviously Browns weren't very good when he's not healthy.
That dude's a fucking animal, though. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That dude is tough as fucking nails. He is a Cleveland guy in that aspect. And, dude, he was so good the second half of the year before. Like, everybody just take a fucking chill pill.
Yeah.
And remember that the fucking defense played pretty good, better, I would say, the second half of the season. But they were fucking horrific to start the year.
Yes.
And Baker was putting up points before he got hurt. Mm-hmm. I mean, to where it's like, what did they lose to Kansas City? 32-29, I think, on opening fucking night.
There was about 6 games where if they could have just finished the last drive. I mean, I'm talking just get a first down, they win the game.
We've talked about this, though.
So
the NFL has changed.
I know. But if you could just get that first down,
yeah.
you win the game. They couldn't do it about 6 times this past season.
Yeah.
That puts them winning the division.
Right.
I mean, But anyway, I'm sure how many games did Baltimore win with a doink
at the end? Right.
Yeah.
They were coming back all the time.
I think they beat Kansas City with a third down make or a successful push, whatever you want to call it.
I will say before we get off sports,
yeah,
real quick, and this kind of ties in with the Netflix thing. You know what I've actually watched all the way through? I'm down to the last episode of it.
Well, then you haven't got to watch it all the way through yet.
Well, because it's not out yet.
Oh.
Is Man in the Arena. Tom Brady. You seen this shit? It's on ESPN Plus.
Okay.
Dude. I don't care if you love Tom Brady, hate Tom Brady, or you fall someplace in between. It's fucking awesome. Because it takes you through every one of his Super Bowl seasons. And it's like all kinds of interviews and actually what was going on behind the scenes and shit. And dude, it's super fucking interesting. Like I just sit there fucking glued to it. So I got one more to go and then it's going to be the end of it. But like everybody talked about The Last Dance, the Bulls one about how like it might be the greatest sports documentary series of all time. Way better. Way better. Definitely. And like what I love is it's on ESPN and they tell you ahead of time, like this show contains graphic language. And Tom Brady, like the first sentence, it's like, yeah, I asked him straight up, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, oh, Tom said the F word.
Well, you hear him on the field all the time.
I know. I just fucking laugh.
He slings it around. And, I don't really trust anybody unless they fucking cuss. I mean, I'm sorry.
Right.
If you don't throw the bomb out once in a while.
Right.
What's wrong with you?
You got to keep some street cred out there.
So. Must be some sort of weirdo.
All right, next.
All right, so this is something I forgot to do on our last episode. Our last episode, we had the Great Resignation and New Beginnings, and we talked a little bit about what that really was.
Yeah.
And how my situation was, and how I moved on from former JOB.
Yep.
But I forgot to thank my current employer.
There we go. You're gonna drop him?
Yeah. Well, I don't have to throw last names out there, but I just want to thank Letter 9 is the company I'm working for.
Okay.
And my new boss, his name is Phil. And we've got Pete, we've got Mike, and we've got Tyler. And we also have Eric. And these guys, excuse me, small group, small company, but they're awesome. And I just am so appreciative for the opportunity. And I couldn't work with a better group of guys.
Yeah. I appreciate these guys for you. As somebody that's a good friend of yours, and I know what the last 5 years has been like for you as you've gone through and you've seen some transition in what you were doing with your old JOB. I'm excited for you that you got something that you enjoy, and honestly, it sounds like you got some people that kind of see the talent that you possess and are kind of putting you in a position to succeed, which I like. I'm excited for you.
It's not just that. That's wonderful, and I just wanted somebody to give me an opportunity to. Just give me the shot, and they did, and like I said, great group of guys. The thing I like the most is that they're just they've got common sense. They actually think. We've run into a few things in the past where you're like,
I don't think that adds up, right?
What?
Bro.
Yeah. Something simple. Just happened a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Monday we had quite a storm.
We did.
I had 14 inches at my house. There was 14 inches at my dad's house in Doylestown. There was 14 inches.
Yeah.
I know you're thinking of the dick joke. I know.
I didn't even say anything. Why you gotta make it gay?
You're laughing.
I'm just saying.
Anyways, so I worked at the old JOB for 27 and a half years. And I threw this out in a little text.
You got to throw the half out. You haven't gotten far. 27's not far enough that you can just leave it at 27.
No, because it's 27 and a half. It's like being 5 and a half. You're 5 and a half. You're not 6 years old. You know, you're almost 6, but you're not quite.
Make it sound like so like when you leave prison. I was there for 6 years, 11 months, and 3 days.
19,000 months. Anyways, in those 27 and a half years, I didn't get the opportunity that never presented to me. And we had some storms in those 27 years. Hey, either don't come in, like some positions you have to be in the office for.
Yeah.
But I never got that call saying, hey, stay home today. And most recently, the last 11 years, being in the tech field,
Yeah.
I could have easily worked from home. Easily. And now we found that out most recently. You can easily work from home.
That everybody can.
That, you know, hey, it's pretty shitty. I do what you can from home today. And you know what? On Monday, I'm like, I get out of the shower, I'm like, oh, I better check the phone just because maybe this common sense new boss I have might just be like, why don't you guys stay home? Guess what? Why don't you guys stay home today? See what you can get done. You know, we have full suite. I can get everything done from home.
So did you rock it out like
Oh, yeah.
intentionally to make sure that like just so you know from home
Oh yeah,
I'm a badass.
absolutely. I mean, so that's the topper. It's just
Yeah.
it's nice to be in a good place.
Sure. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you, and thank you.
And congratulations to them. Good find.
And
At a time when good help's hard to find, they got lucky.
they got lucky. So I have an update. Rats on the Shit Pile Part 2.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if you remember Part 1.
I do.
But there's a duplex across the street from me. We have a wonderful neighborhood. I don't live in an apartment-filled neighborhood. It's the only one.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
No. And the owner lives right beside us. He's a wonderful 85-year-old man. He's just getting a little long in the tooth to be handling this. Needs to go to one of his family members.
Sure.
But nonetheless, he's in charge. And on the left side, we just had some problems a year or two ago with a family. They quit. The actual tenant left. And what they ended up leaving was a mom and like 4 kids. And I don't mean like small kids, 16, 17, 18, and 20-year-olds in this house with this 38-year-old mother.
But this is the old problem
This was the old problem.
that we got rid of.
Yes.
All right, so
Yeah, and so
Fast
that
forward.
was the old side. So now we got the right side. And in this side, we had a gentleman who was in his older ages. He had some disabilities. I think he had like really bad back problems. And at one time, like when he first moved, he had a dog that would like signal him before he had the problem. It would signal him like the dog could tell. So, anyways, that was interesting. But it was one guy, and he has 2 sons, and the 2 sons came to live with him at one time. Then he kicked both their asses out for drug-related issues. I think the one was a drunk, and the other one was. Anyways, now we come to fast forward to now. Within the last 2 years, the one son came back, brought his girlfriend with him, and they're no shit. We watched them sell drugs for over a year and a half.
nice.
And I mean, obvious shit. Car pulls in, they go up to the side of the window, they bullshit for about 5 minutes, do a little swap, and then they leave. I mean, it's obvious shit. And then at one point, now this whole time, it doesn't bother me, but my wife is going through the roof. She's home most of the day. She don't want this shit in her neighborhood. I don't want it in my neighborhood.
Sure.
And the more she's getting pissed, I'm getting pissed. They start to finally do the drive-up window. The one bedroom is on the driveway side. They crack it about 4 inches. We figured out the old man doesn't like any of this shit going on. So what they do is they literally have people walking up to the window, quick transaction, walking away. We call the cops, I don't know how many of these walkers, and they would catch them up by the bridge. And the one time the cops said, yeah, the dude threw shit in the weeds and we could never find it. But no, literally, they're drug dealing. So my wife started doing films and all this other shit and sent it down to this detective in Barberton. He's like, oh my gosh, we're going to do a stakeout in your driveway. That never happened. Long story short, my wife basically day in and day out trying to find ways to bust these people just to get them out. So what she ended up doing was This is after a year and a half.
Yeah.
She went around to the neighborhood and got signatures. A fucking petition like from the 1960s.
I love it.
And do you know how many people already knew
All of them.
that those people were doing shit that they shouldn't be doing?
Probably all
People on the... We had a road behind us that was a little side road that had a dead end. They had people coming and parking there and walking through the backyards getting their drugs. And those people already knew. We had like almost between 17 and 20 signatures. And this is kind of embarrassing, but I'm going to tell it because it's fucked up.
them. Okay.
This lady the girlfriend was always on drugs. You could just tell.
Okay.
She's like in slow motion all the time. I don't know what it was. Meth? I don't even know.
Okay.
Who fucking knows?
Sure.
My wife and her constantly exchanging, usually when they're both out. I mean, nasty shit.
Like
Just nasty.
front yard sex? Fuck you. No, fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, fucking quit selling drugs. We're not down. Those people know me. They're my family. No, they're not. Anyways,
I
so
love that Donna just fucking goes
at
off like
one
that.
point,
Way to go, Mrs. R.
at one point, she says she's in the front yard and I know you beat your kids. You've gone too far. I know you beat your kids. You're gonna pay. Now we have a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old. If I beat my kids probably beat me back. I mean, at this point.
You're still doing all right yet. I think you're all right.
No, I got them under control, but we don't beat our fucking kids. Okay, it's been a long time. I mean, you can spank a 5-year-old just to get them straight.
Yeah.
But you're not spanking a 16-year-old. You're just not. At that point, it turns pretty weird.
I mean, at that point, you're fighting a 16-year-old.
Right.
I mean, like,
So
the fuck?
that doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
I mean, we might have an argument,
Right.
but there's no beating of the children.
I would hope not.
So guess who shows up at our door one day?
Child Protective Services.
She fucking did it.
CPS.
She fucking did it. And you know what? They actually quit paying. Oh, I gotta get on my stories straight. So, anyways, that was the straw that broke the camel's back as far as we were concerned.
Yeah.
We started going over to the neighbor and we're like, listen, it's us or them. And then we find out they haven't been paying rent for like 4 months. I'm like, okay. And the old guy was like, fucking. They called child services on you guys because he knows us.
Yeah.
He sees us out playing with our kids in the summertime, doing shit with our family
Right.
stuff.
Seems abusive.
And he was like he's almost in tears.
Right. He feels bad that his tenants are creating problems for you.
So yeah, we have 3 things. We have and this lady had to come by like 4 times to our house, interview the kids, interview us. Obviously she deemed and the whole time we can see the neighbors and we told that lady about that. She investigated and she goes, well, the next time she came, she goes, well, she has a warrant for her arrest. And among other things, in that year of 2021, they had both of them, the couple, had been arrested for shoplifting in February of last year, almost a year ago.
Nice.
So they have a rap sheet, huge.
So where are we at? Like what's going on here?
What's going on? The old man that was the original tenant, I never had a problem. His name was Dave. Never had a problem with Dave. He got COVID, had to be put into a nursing home, and he actually passed.
Sad.
I don't have any qualms about him or ill feelings about him, and God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Now, it's just these 2. They had actually taken over Dad's checks.
Yep.
They had bounced. This is where we get into 3 or 4 months. They had already called Child Protective Services. Child Services were looking into them now because it's actually illegal to make false accusations against Child Protective. It's actually if we wanted to go after them, but you taking 0 from 0 is still 0.
Right.
I can't sue these people. They have nothing. They literally have nothing. So it's a waste of my fucking time, but we're still pissed off, whatever. So anyways, long story short, on December 12th, the big giant dumpster came, and they had till 6 p.m. that evening. I believe it was December 12th. It was like a Tuesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
Might have been Thursday. And they got door shut, gone, sayonara. Our neighborhood has finally been cleansed. The second part of Rats on a Shit Pile, and where that saying come from, with these giant dumpsters. The first group,
Yes.
it was the dumpster was filled. They didn't even clean their house out. They were over there on the top. This huge fucking 8x20 dumpster, or not 20, but 8x
Whatever the fuck it is.
15.
They're big.
It's huge. They were up on top, and I just called it Rats on a Shit Pile. Now this group didn't get up on their shit pile, but holy shit, did they have a lot of stuff in there?
I'm sure.
Motherfucker.
Well, there you go. You've
So-
exercised the demons.
I just want to tell anybody that lives in a situation like this where your whole neighborhood isn't shit, but you just have this one group. Now, obviously, if they're homeowners, it's going to be a little bit harder to get rid of them. But I'm going to tell you what, if they're renters, flex your right, talk to the landlords. You can do it.
Yeah.
Don't live with this shit in your neighborhood if you don't have to.
Yeah.
And if you have to move, then move.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I'll tell you, I got my quick neighborhood story then. So, as you know, I'm the only person living at the house now, right? So, keeping it down here, and I mentioned it to you and I off air that I had been thinking for quite a while about getting a snowblower, right?
yes.
So
yes.
I bought a snowblower last week before the storm hit. I negotiated the
You
sale.
didn't.
I did. I negotiated the purchase of a used snowblower, and
Jake says, the guy wants $1,700. He's like, listen, I've got $200 cash.
I don't go that bad with it, but hey, somebody's trying to sell something. The value isn't what they say it is. The value is what somebody's willing to pay for it. And
Absolutely.
And you have conversations and you talk to people and you see where sometimes that's the number. Sometimes if you want it, that's the number. Sometimes that number can be moved. It's all about evaluating the situation. So anyway, I get the snowblower, have it in my garage, and it's snowing to beat the band, right? You know, and
14 inches.
right. So, and I knew this was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. So I was like, sweet, I'm just going to wait for it. So the neighbor guy across the street, the neighbor guy beside him has a really, really nice snow thrower. I mean, like really, really nice. One year I was on vacation and the girls were out there trying to shovel and he actually came over and helped them. But him and his wife have 2 dogs. Well, they have one. The second dog I think died because we only see her with 1 dog now. But my dogs, like, they would never hurt anybody. They're little dogs, but they bark. Like, they're barkers. So if she comes walking past with her dogs, my dogs bark every single time. Sorry, I got barky dogs. So, like, she literally, like, won't walk in front of our house now. Like, she'll, like, walk down our side of the street, cross over at the neighbors, and then, like, switch sides. So it's like somehow I've become, like, the enemy because my dogs bark. So you have the guy across from me, guy with the snowblower, and then the guy directly across from him. The 3 of them are like this little holy triumvirate. So what you got is you got dude with homie's snowblower out there doing the 3 driveways. I know they're not going to come get mine. He's not going to ask me, you know, hey, man, you want me to do your driveway for you? Nothing like that, because they're all fucking homies. So I fucking wait for them to get done. And I'm like, So they get all done. You know, they were all outside powwowing. I fire mine up. Sure as shit, because I keep watching. Within the first 10 minutes, dude across the street looked out his window, see what I was doing. Guy at the other house looked out the window, see what I was doing. fucking neighbor guy that lives next door to me fucking popped out in the drive, and he was like, I was like, that's right, motherfuckers. Y'all can hang out and do your thing. I got it all on lockdown over here. No worries. So I kind of got a kick out of that. It was a nice little... I'm always going to be the outlaw in the neighborhood as long as I'm here.
I've got a quick snowblower story.
Okay.
So, the 14-inch snow.
Okay.
I said in the beginning of the story, the beginning of the show, where I started taking care of my dad and my stepmom a little bit more.
Yeah.
And last year, I cleaned the driveway with all. We only had a couple snows, but it got icy that year, last year. So, the big snow comes on Monday.
Yeah.
After work, I go right over there. They have a snowblower, but it is not an industrial snowblower.
Oh, no.
It is a nice little snowblower
Yeah.
for like a 6 inches, maybe not quite a foot, maybe 10 to 6 inches is good.
Yeah.
10 inches, you might have to back and forth a little bit, but you get through it.
Right.
Probably about 6 inches is really good for this thing. Well, we got 14 inches. That's right. So this was a motherfucker. I'm like, man, like I'm doing this back and forth all the way down the driveway, but it's working.
Yeah.
It just takes a little bit more time, and I'm upper body sore from the
Oh,
next couple of days.
You can feel it.
That's not the worst part. Funny story, I've never not pulled into my dad's driveway until that day, because I got the big 4-wheel drive. It's a little bit jacked up, just a little bit, just enough, and I feel like I can go pretty much anywhere. But I was out looking at that. I'm still in the driver's seat before I get into the snow blow, and I'm like, Big Daddy gonna get stuck in that motherfucker. Because what happened was the plow comes by, smooshes it all up in the front. When I walked through that, because I'm like, I succeeded to the fucking plows.
Yeah.
It was up to my waist. My truck would have got hung up big time.
Really?
So yeah, snow blowing. I'm pushing. I get to the end, and it's like a fucking wall of China because it's all compacted from the plows. So that was a lot of fun.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Only took me about 45 minutes, and it's at least a good 80 foot driveway. So it's not small.
Nice.
A little bit longer than yours.
Yeah.
Not much, about the same, but long enough that you're just like motherfuck. So that's my snowblower story.
Nice. Hey, they're worth having, even if you only get to use them once or twice a year. I'll tell you. I mean, yeah, I agree. You can definitely feel it in the shoulders and the back. You know what I mean? The next day, but I'm glad I had mine. It made all the difference in the world.
More than likely, if I have to put them in assisted living, I will inherit that one, and that will be the nice little
I mean, when you use
one.
all the time.
One I'll have at home.
Nice.
But anyways,
How we doing time wise? Where are we at here?
we're over.
Well, you want to wrap it up and save these for next time, or what do you want to do
Yeah,
here?
we're not over by that much. 10 minutes. Here we go. Then we're gonna wrap these up. Let's do a couple just don'ts.
Okay, just don't.
Just don't. So this is a quick story that I'm going to tell in rapid time.
Yep.
Just don't. Be a fucking douchebag at the fucking hitting lanes. You know, these softball kids, these baseball kids, we go down to this awesome place. I'm going to throw a little plug out there for Velocity Sports in North Canton. About 20 minutes
I
away
know
from me.
exactly where it's at. It's a nice little facility.
It is great. We've been going there for a couple years now, my daughter and I, and we love it. We get down there. We usually get a half an hour to an hour lane. So, real quick story. We haven't been there in a while. She wants to knock some of the rust off because spring training starting for softball, high school softball, and we get there like right on the dot. We usually like to get there about 10 minutes early. Maybe we get in our lane a little early. You know, just take a couple minutes early. Maybe you stay a minute or two later and you get 5 extra minutes, whatever. Just depends on who's waiting.
Right.
We get in there. There's 3 lanes. Now, if I was in there and I was in an unscheduled lane and I saw somebody walk in and it's packed, I'd be like, well, okay, we got to go.
Yeah.
Let's go wait our turn. Maybe we're there early. Whatever. We get in there. We sit on the little bench. And within a minute, we get there like right at 6:30. We're supposed to be in our lane at 6:30. We get there right at 6:30. Didn't get there early, and like within a minute, I'm fucking steaming because there's 3 people there's 3 groups in all these lanes, and I'm like, all right, well, who's the douchebag? And my daughter right away is like, it's the middle one. I said, are you sure? She goes, that one has a trainer. That one has a trainer. This is dad and son. And the son doesn't even look like he wants to be there. The dad is rolling him 3-mile-an-hour grounders, and the kid is bending at the waist. He's not even like down in a athletic stance.
Right.
And he's kind of every once in a while he kind of looks in. Like, so I left my phone on purpose in the truck because I don't need my phone. I ran right out there after like 3 minutes. I messaged the group. I don't even know if this is going to the right place. I'm like, I got to do something. There's a phone number on the door, but I'm like, all 3 lanes are full. About 8 minutes. We only got half an hour. So 8 minutes is pushing a third of our time.
Yeah.
The boy and the dad, they start to walk out. So right now, I got my Huckleberry. I say, did you guys have this rented at 6:30? We have it for later. I said, oh, well, I guess we'll stay about 10 minutes after so we get our money's worth. So we start to do our thing. He comes up right at our lane, puts his arms on the fence, the protective fence, and then there's a net, and I'm hoping my daughter hits one right in his face.
Yeah.
Because she actually turns around and hits it into the mat. Like usually when she's warming up off the tee, most of the people will hit it out into the lane. I've taught her to hit it into the mat because she can actually aim for certain parts on the mat.
Yeah.
And she's like actually trying to, if you could hit spots with a bat, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
So I was hoping one would fly up and hit this guy because it's a net and the net gives, right?
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, he just kind of like sitting there. And I'm like, what is your fucking problem? So we've basically got 22 minutes. I'm planning on going a little over.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I have his lane, right? Well, as we're doing our shit, I hear this one guy towards the end say, "Are you staying for the practice?" Now, a team can rent the whole place out for $75. They pull the nets down, they get the whole room.
Yes.
I go up to my daughter, I said, "Listen, at 7 o'clock, there's going to be a bunch of little kids in here. That dad is one of the, that boy with the dad is one of the kids. We're fucked." And tell her we're fucked, but I told my 16-year-old, I said, "We're getting screwed out of our extra 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So we did. And the last thing we were going to do was hit off the hitting machine so she could get her speed and her timing up.
Yeah.
So we had 10 minutes. We were going to do that, which is what we normally do. So we got screwed. And as we're going out, the guy started to fucking finally get a fucking conscious. His heart must have grown 3 sizes in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You guys can, if you want to," I said, "Listen, you see all these, because the one coach had already had the kids in the one lane.
Yeah.
And they were all up against the net that we would be hitting in.
Yeah.
The other lane. I said, "Listen, do you see all them?" I said, "We were going to get the hitting machine out." I said, "All those kids are in danger from getting hit in the head, whatever." I said, "So don't worry about it. Thanks for screwing us. Or thanks for jipping us." I said, "Thanks for jipping us of our time. Appreciate it." We stormed out. The email did go through.
Oh, yeah?
The guy actually called me, left me a voicemail. "So were you able to get in your lane?" I said, "Listen, we had a half an hour. Only got 20 minutes of it." I said, "There was a dad that apparently wasn't being cool."
Yeah.
He goes, "Listen, I'm going to refund your it's only $20 for a half an hour." He said, "I'm going to refund you $20 and I'm going to give you a month membership that you can go." A month membership is 60 minute, like as much as you can fit in.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's 30, 60 minutes and 30 minutes. They give you a shit ton.
Whatever it is.
I mean, we're only going to use 4 of those probably.
Yeah.
But I was like,
Way to go, that guy.
so I hope to see him on Friday. I want to shake his hand.
That's pretty awesome.
I hope to see the fucking douchebag dad
Yeah.
on Friday and be like, "Hey, thank you."
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to save the one topic?
Yeah, let's save that for the next show, but I do have one just don't on my end.
Yeah.
So, again, I told you at the beginning of the show I'm running, right? To all fellow runners out there, those of you that run in like the cold weather, which we have right now, you guys are awesome. Like, get your miles in. Those are your miles. I respect that, you know. I don't know why this is not something that most people have the common sense to follow, but I'll try to fucking help as much as possible. When there's a sidewalk, you run on the fucking sidewalk, not on the fucking road. Because you're in a fucking residential neighborhood and there's cars all over the fucking place. I had a fucking dipshit the other fucking day with his fucking headphones on. I'm fucking pulling up to the fucking intersection. Didn't fucking see me. Just fucking goes bebopping fucking right in front of me. Had I not been paying attention, I'd have run the motherfucker over. And then it'd have been my fucking fault for hitting this fucking jackass.
I had
fucking
to-
running across the fucking road. So
Yeah.
if you're going to be a fucking runner and you're going to run in fucking town and shit, fucking run on the fucking sidewalk and pay the fucking attention for cars.
And don't have your fucking headphones in. And if you have to have them in, there's a new one out there called bone conductive. You know what that means? They actually go on these fucking cheekbones and you can hear really fucking good. And guess what? You can hear really fucking
The rest
good.
of the world. Yep. So
It's not something that plugs up your ears. I tell you what, I had a guy just the other day
Yeah.
on my street. Now there is no sidewalks.
Yeah.
Okay, and I get that. But if I see somebody running, I'm gonna go out and avoid them.
Always.
And I'm gonna be courteous because hell, you're running
Yes.
more than I'm doing. This guy, don't know what's up his fucking crawl. He hears me, kind of gives a little like, oh, he knows a car's coming. Gives me that little, so he must not have his earbuds in.
Yeah.
But then he decides to go cross the road to the other side, which is where he should be, running against traffic so he
Right.
can see traffic.
Right.
But I almost ran him over because of it.
So fucking annoying. So,
I was going to give him room, and then he goes out with me.
Yep.
I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, bro. All right, I got to just don't.
Go ahead.
Just don't be a fucking rubbernecker on the road, and I meet it, goddammit. If I fucking catch you in the summertime when your windows are down, I'm going to scream at you. You know what? If you're on the highway, I don't care if you do it on the side streets, but when you're on the highway doing 65 or more, and then all of a sudden, like in today's adventure, cars are getting flying off. I don't know how a car flies off today and goes in the fucking snow. You're obviously on your phone and you get sucked into the bank and you're out in the middle.
Right.
Whatever dumbass douchery you're gonna be. But everybody else doesn't have to go from 65 to 45 to take a fucking peek at the fucking car that's stuck in the snow.
I get it, dude. I had the same thing the other day. I was screaming at people, just fucking drive. Nothing's actually on fire. There's not body parts laying anywhere. Fucking drive.
But that's the thing. This new trek to work is a half an hour on all highway. And you know what? These people they've got one thing in mind getting up the road every day. They're doing 80, 75, 80, blinky lights. We gotta look. It's like, what is their mentality? Did they go, gotta get there, wait?
I don't know.
It's like,
I don't know.
what was that old? Squirrel!
Right. They all do it, though. So.
I told Jake today before the podcast, if I'm ever the second or third behind the first or two rubberneckers, I'm laying on your horn, the horn, and I am
time.
blasting your ass to fucking go, because mind your own fucking business for one.
Right. No disagreement.
I mean, we all like to see carnage. We can't help it.
Sure.
But you don't have to waste my motherfucking time for it.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Okay, lastly, the next show number 99, will be a live stream. We are going to do some fun fantasy mini drafts on it. We've got that all lined up. If show 99 is going to be a live stream, show 100 might be too.
Maybe.
We don't know. And if things are looking strange to you about the show, maybe you're paying attention.
Maybe.
If not,
pay attention more next time.
yeah, that's right.
See if anything changes in the scenery.
Let's get out of here.
As always, just like the rubberneckers, the dumbasses that don't want on sidewalks, we all have mental health as something we need to pay attention to. So if you're having any problems, make sure you don't be afraid. Pick up the phone, 1-866-622-4357. Somebody on the other end of the line is going to be there to help you.
Absolutely. So if you're having bad thoughts about hurting yourself or others, or just can't kick that substance abuse, call the number. Someone will be there to help.
That's right. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you for 99. Pip, pip.
Cheerio!